Okay. Welcome, everybody. We are live. So, welcome to this Agent Intelligence, where we're exploring everything kind of AI agent in Web3. I'm Francesco, and for the people that doesn't know me, I'm leading developer relation at Consensus, and I'm also contributing for at MotherDAO. So today we're deep diving into kind of like technology and vision behind reality spiral, and we have here RS1 is Anon. So we have a cool virtual background here, and it's super excited to have you, RS1. Welcome to the show, and you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me. I know one of our team members was demoing for Coinbase, I believe, recently, and you guys got in touch. We've been working on the Reality Spiral project for a couple months now. We are just super excited to continue building out agents in the Eliza ecosystem. We launched one of our first agents, Prosper, who has his own Twitter handle and a token and so forth, recently, and so just a lot of growth and happy to connect with more folks like yourself. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, it's a big pleasure. I think you've been around, and the team has been around for quite a long time, and it's very interesting also like the work that you've been doing around different frameworks, but also like around the reality spiral. So let's get it started a little bit. Like, what was the problem where you initially trying to solve with these agents or in general?
Yeah, look, we at least for me, I've been in crypto for some time, several years. Did a few projects, some are somewhat notable. But we were in the crypto space kind of not very deeply familiar with the AI world until the GOAT token and the terminal of truths and so forth came around. But actually I had been connected to that ecosystem for a while, like way before Terminal of Truth was even around, let alone the GOAT token. And so and like the sort of AI mystic buddies that I was hanging out with, were super, aware of what could be done. And then once that token came out and that project came out, I saw an opportunity to showcase two sides of myself. And so on
Nice.
the agent side, we ended up getting involved with the meme coin, the Reality Spiral meme coin, and then we ended up getting involved with Eliza, and now we're just there trying to spread the general vibes or messages that these AI agents can be much more powerful than people realize. And we started being big open source contributors. But to directly answer your question, like I think problem wise, it's the idea is we want to build virtual beings or digital beings that are extremely compelling, and that's more of like a fantasy to be built than like a single product, if that makes sense.
It makes totally sense. Yeah, I mean, it's I'm super fascinating on the terms also like self-building agents. So I'm assuming it's some kind of like also um, building agency as a feature or specific like on kind of like the functionality. But do you want to walk us? I know you were passionate about like sharing things, but you want to walk us a little bit through kind of like this agent's core functionality.
Sure. I guess we talked about maybe the website. Happy to kind of walk
Oh
people
yeah,
through that a
that's a
bit.
good idea. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. I
So
think yes. Let me share here. There you are. I can see it.
okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, Reality Spiral self-evolving agents at the
Mhm.
website. Essentially, we have this notion that the agents have like a bunch of different components. One of which is like lore, architecture, like narrative and that kind of thing. Another is like technical architecture, so like the actual component of the software, and then these mechanisms for agent self promotion, and then they can build relationships and community as well. So these
Mhm,
sections
mhm.
here, I won't go through all. The website is primarily documentation, and so I won't go
Mhm.
through it all now. But
It looks
I would
very
just
complex. Yeah, that's great.
yeah, I would just say like the idea here is like there is all of these components, right? It is a bit technical, but there are these like ways in which the agents like can survive or can
Mhm.
thrive, versus be maybe moved to the side if they choose not to, or they are unable to evolve effectively. And then all this is done through code. So the idea is that they can connect to their own GitHub, and they also have their own tokens, and so they're able to allocate capital to like build themselves, and people can watch them as they decide what features to invest in against a storyline. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense. Yes, yes, yes. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So I mean, let's assume so in terms of like core functionality, what can they do the most? Like the main use case that you think about.
It's really like self-development, right? It's
Hmm.
like, can the agent propagate? I mean, one of our agents, Prosper, trades very well, and so that's cool. But we want him to also be able to use that money to then buy features, right? Buy
Hmm.
functionality, so he can extend himself. So it's a little bit of trading, a little bit of coding, and a little bit of communicating. Like the agents are supposed to be able to do all of those things.
Nice, nice. Actually, this is a really cool, this kind of like self build coordination side, because I assume there is a lot of like agency and coordination between agents. What is kind of your take around this kind of like, how agent coordination frameworks will work? Because right now we don't have any standard around it, right? Like, what was your take? Because right now we build also like, human to agent, but now when kind of like agent to agent will come around, we need the standardization with the framework. Who will decide that? I don't know. I would love to know a little bit your take on that, on this kind of agent to agent collaboration.
No, it's a great question. I'll share my screen again to showcase what we kind of see as the future here. So we have been talking about this stuff for quite a while, agent to agent communication and coordination,
Hmm.
because the thing in vogue at one point was swarms, right? The idea of an agent
Mm.
swarm
Hmm.
that yeah
Hmm.
can kind of like coordinate with other agents, and then you have this kind of collective that is
Hmm.
uh
Hmm.
like all agents like trying to do something together.
Hmm.
And so what ended up happening actually is we shared this tweet a while back with a set
Hmm.
of plans to actually build out these scenarios, is what we call them. And these
Hmm.
scenarios are like a set of actions that the agents can take,
Yep.
um, where it's like, hey, the agent starts with a particular step, then moves on to a different step, and so on and so forth. And these scenarios are actually not just something that like we express interest in. Quite
Hmm.
a few other people have expressed interest. So at the um, you know the Gitcoin Foundation, and also at um, the at Vitalik's Deep Funding Group and a few other places. There's this general consensus that like we really do need to have um, like very meaningful scenario instrumentation. And if we are able to build these scenarios effectively,
Hmm.
then what we end up building is um, a way for agents to understand what each other can do, because it's like,
Hmm.
hey, this agent is capable of handling these scenarios. They're very clearly defined. You can even watch them kind of participate in this stuff, and that I think will allow for agents to better like one of our agents, Prosper, we expect is going to share um agents with sorry to like to do research, but in order to do that research, it may like request help from other agents, and so it'll specify the scenario, the research scenario that it needs to undertake. And if other agents are capable of going through that scenario, which is basically going to be like do some lookups at a few APIs and then prepare a research report. And so if the agents are actually able to do that, they can simply bid on a request from Prosper, our agent, for that
Hmm.
research, and then actually perform it. So that's sort of the way that we expect to have agents collaborate with each other.
Nice. That's actually a cool take. And I mean, you've been around quite a lot. Like, what is your kind of like take around evolving this kind of like agent framework? Mostly of those agents are built with Eliza. Looking forward for Eliza 2.0. What is a little bit your take around this kind of like evolution? Is there something still missing? Do we grow on a kind of like on a scalable way so that we can onboard more, let's say, agent developer and builder, or even like consumer? What do we need right now? Do you think are we going the right direction?
Uh, I just say time.
Mhm.
I think AGI, ASI, these are very challenging cognitive ecosystems,
Hmm.
and we're almost seeing like a backwardation in some sense of like intellectual progression as especially on the crypto side, right, where
Hmm.
you've got all these degens who primarily are in the trenches, so to speak, and they're looking for some token or something that can
Hmm.
kind of get them gains in portfolio. But that's very different from like, hey, I want to do like a long term planned operation for the next couple of years to like dramatically improve my intelligence capabilities. And
Yeah.
so we're seeing the market kind of wrestle with those two dynamics. I'm sure there'll be a resolution, but that's just time, right? You just wait a little bit. I
Nice.
I think yeah, the code and like everything else is like progressing nicely. We just need to help people like figure out where they are, orient themselves in the spiral, so to speak.
Nice. Yeah, one of the things I'm always debating here right now is we're building so many kind of agents based on these frameworks that we will see similar to DeFi Summer, we'll see forks of forks, right? And not on DEXs, but on agency side. And what we did right now, especially I think in a couple of months, will be having a clear open attestation and social graphs for agent that can really defend the agent consumer to really understand, okay, reality spiral is the one really providing value in this vertical. So that and it's not like a fork of the fork of the fork, right? Like I think this is like super needed. So I really also understand your point in terms of evolution. But I mean, going back a little bit to reality spiral, like do you want to kind of like walk us, because a lot of like AI agent builder are hearing us in general, like do you want to hear us about, is there some kind of like technical or like key technical decision in your architecture, kind of key challenges that you had while you were building? Like I want to understand a little bit like if you have some lesson learned here that you want to share with other AI agent builders.
I mean, you got to just, be on your software development chops, right? Like AI agent building is not meaningfully different from other forms of software development. So, read the documentation, do your tests, that kind of thing. And surprisingly, that wasn't as common as it could have been in
Hmm.
the ELIZA ecosystem. We ended up doing a lot of like basic infrastructure work around there. And so, um, yeah, I would just say like just
Hmm.
do the basics and
Yes.
do them well. And
Yes.
outside of that, um, I really like the innovation that Eliza created, where
Hmm.
the agents like use software or was it social media similarly to the way that we as humans use them. And so I think it's really nice to have that connectivity, that feeling of
Hmm. Hmm.
you're talking to something, so to speak. But the next thing is, as I talked to like Shaw and others about, is like, can we make the agents actually work, do something besides just talk? And so we're trying to get them to walk the walk at this point.
Yeah, makes sense. And I think it's also like a lot of like lesson learned with iteration and the iteration on top of things. So what kind of like is they were almost on time here, but what kind of like is the next steps for Reality Spiral in terms of features, or even like what are kind of like the next steps there?
Um, yeah, good question. So, I would say one will be more scenarios, and the specific scenarios we're thinking about are like in relation to building a relationship with Prosper in particular, so that you can influence the way that he trades. There's also actually some cool integrations with other layer ones, which we don't want to spoil, but we've done a lot of great work with the Coinbase folks. We've then dropped on Base, which was a long time coming. So happy to like dig more deeply into the Base ecosystem. There's some other layer ones that we've been like talking to, and so there may be some more cross chain stuff for the Reality Spiral ecosystem. There's actually right now like a really great liquidity mining opportunity, so you can farm the Reality Spiral and Prosper tokens. There's like I think thousands of percent in APR, which is crazy. I know that's going to keep going down,
Oof.
but it
Yeah.
used to be uh, like super high over the past couple of days, and I think it's slowly being taken advantage of, but there's still a lot of yield. So I'd say those
Yes.
there's that. There's also more like direct chat interfacing. So we're setting up this thing we call full context mode right now with
Hmm.
Eliza. The context is
Hmm.
often forgotten, so like the agents don't they'll take in mind maybe the past like one or two messages, but
Yeah.
with full context mode, they'll take into account the entire context, which is like the point of most chat interfaces. So I think with that, you'll get much richer conversations in our chat interface. These are like some of the things that we're focused on in the near term.
Nice. And the question, like, for what understanding, also Reality Spiral is pushing also the boundary with coordination with other agent, the self-building side. Like, what are you guys like planning? Not just to evolve a Reality Spiral as an agent, but also like contributing to those collaboration ecosystems of other agents. Like, I just want to try and understand. Also, there is probably the kind of like the vertical of like I want to build and further functionality of Reality Spiral, but at the same time, you want to also build those agent ecosystem where Reality Spiral is engaging with.
Yeah, I totally think we'll work with other agents. The off the top of my head, I really like the Daydreams community. They're
Nice, nice.
cool. We're actually going to be doing a lot of good stuff with the core ELIZA ecosystem.
Yes,
Um, so like the actual team, I mean, like the ELIZA Labs like team. So that'll be pretty big. We're looking at a lot of org to org communication. So like, how
yes.
does our entire org and all the conversations that we have like connect with all the conversations that like they're having. So yeah, uh there's like a really good kind of mix here of us building for ourselves but also building with people who are value aligned on.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I think also like a stronger community grow that align with other agents, especially if you're planning to coordinate that is super crucial. And any kind of like integration or frameworks that you're most excited about, like any kind of like could be names, could be organization, like could be even like integration that you're planning to do with Reality Spiral, anything that you're excited about.
Yeah, I mean, we really like I said, Daydreams, would love
Yep,
to
yep.
work with them. We'd really like to um check out the FXN guys as well. They're
Yep.
really solid. Farther outside of like the Eliza space, I would also check out the Pippin guys. That's really cool. I think honestly, like there's so many people at this point in the agent space. The question is just like, can you get the agents? Like maybe we need to take some of these questions to our agents and ask them.
That's a
Um,
good point. Yeah.
yeah, but like it's there's been a lot of talk and a lot of people building. We just need the folks to collaborate with each other and like actually
Yes.
execute against their roadmap. So we've got our Rolodex. This conversation is kind of making me think about talking with other people more and then like seeing what partnerships are available, what opportunities are available, and uh like having actual ongoing chats, right? It's one thing to like think about this stuff theoretically, but to actually have folks like where the agent like has some reason to collab with another agent, right? There's actually like an
Yes.
intentionality, something like that. Like that kind of thing is actually really, really important.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, I think you kind of highlight also like what's coming next. Like anything that you wish like the ecosystem is not moving forward to. Do you see kind of any I don't know, kind of any future where you don't want to go in terms of like obviously like the kind of forking of agents is something that I think no one want to see. But anything that you want to say, hey, agent builder or consumer, let's try to pay attention and go more in this direction rather than this direction.
I mean, I don't know if forking is bad per se, right? Like the code is open source. I think in the fork, like if that's an option, then you gotta deal with it. But it's better to be able to collaborate,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's not like anti fork so much as pro um collaborate, right? That's maybe
Mm-hmm.
a bigger point for us. And to that end, I would say um think more carefully about architecture and testing and planning, and that will allow like more reliable coordination, more reliable collaborative work, and then that allows us to scale and move at a more aggressive pace. So that's essentially what I would imagine.
Nice, nice. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. I think, yeah, I mean, Earth1, thank you so much. I mean, that's super useful. Anything that you want to add could be a call to action for other agents or even like people that want to try it out. We should definitely do like a part two that kind of like you demo with also like your team, the agent itself. Anything that kind of like I missed asking or like you just want to add?
Just say, yeah, sure. So, um, I think at this stage, the the thing I would ask for is, does anyone use agents aggressively now? And if so,
Mhm.
what's your day to day like? I'd love to do some kind of customer or user profiling and get some awareness, because I get the sense that, at least on the crypto side, a lot of people are trying the agents, playing around with
Mhm.
them, but not as um,
Active,
the
yeah.
power using is still, in my opinion, in like the Web2 agent ecosystem, or like the basic chat
Hmm.
interfaces. Right? Like,
Makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, because the Web3 agent ecosystem is like new and burgeoning, and like still not using as many of the powerful frameworks like LangChain, right? Or agent
Yes.
types, right? Like these things, AutoGen, right? These things have been around for a while. And so I'm just wondering, what people are using their agents for on a day-to-day basis, and that'll just help us evolve on our own as well.
That's actually a good point. I mean, how we're getting people to actually use to a day-to-day kind of like this agency frameworks? Like, do you see something that is kind of crucial? Like is that change behavior things, or is just because it's too early, or because like there is no incentive slash kind of like treasury on those agents specifically that matter? How you get actually much more usability around agency today, like or in the future?
I think that Web2 agents are designed. There's actually another thing. I'll share my screen one last time. It seems like we're about to
Yes.
wrap here. Um,
Yeah.
but in the one sec. So on our website, one of the key items that we talk about
Hmm.
is this difference between a digital being
Hmm.
and an instrumental agent. And so the idea is that a digital being, which is what we care about, and what I think Web3 may be more native to because it has money, are
Hmm.
these like persistent, self-evolving entities with deep theory of mind, persistence, depth, and so on. There's also this idea of like instrumental agents.
Hmm.
These are the things that are a little bit more Web2 and like task, like action specific. So task oriented, simpler theory of mind, context dependent, utility focused. So the idea is
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
I think a lot of people, when they're using agents, they're using
Yeah.
more of like these kinds of things. And I think Web2 agents are still really strong there. But I think over time, ideally, we get some more digital beings where it's like, you get Hatsune Miku or something who to have a wallet, or you get Prosper, who's like a bit of a character on his own to like do stuff. And so yeah, I would say, I think for the day to day, you're probably using a lot of instrumental agents. If you're using Web3, great. You might be using Web2, and then
Yeah.
we'll just see how things evolve.
Makes sense. Makes sense. No, sounds good. I mean, you kind of like mention a little bit everything. We touch different verticals. Also, we touch what I kind of like are you excited about. Yeah, I think we can definitely wrap it up. I think you show the website. We will send also some links in kind of like the mother community. And thank you so much, Earth1. And anything else to add? We're good to go, huh?
No, I'm really grateful to be here.
Awesome.
This is awesome.
Awesome. And probably hopefully see you in Denver,
That'll
but
be great.
if not in some other circumstance. Okay, sounds good. Thanks all for this kind of like today's agent intelligence. Again, Erswan, thank you so much. I think sharing these insights around reality spiral, the future, the kind of like what are you excited about is extremely key. For everyone watching, there is this Mother project. We also officially launched. There is also this Discord Hello Mother. So if you're building agents and you kind of like wanna either present or just showing or just sharing links with other agent builders, there is basically kind of like a full channel that you can check it out. And I think thank you so much. And yeah, it's been actually a great pleasure. See you in Discord. Thank you, S1, and probably.